Hey guys, welcome to RapCartel. Today we're sitting with Grammy Award winning producer and songwriter Young Fyre, the mastermind behind hits for Lil Wayne, Britney Spears, Chris Brown, T-Pain, Flo Milli, Jaden, and more. He's also the CEO and founder of Audeobox, a forward thinking music company pushing creative boundaries. How are you doing
Yeah,
today?
I'm doing excellent. How you
Good.
feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Good, good.
Okay, so tell us about Young Fire. Where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? What was your introduction to music?
Um, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in Des Moines, Iowa. It's the capital city of Iowa. It's an interesting place to grow up. As you guys can see, I am of a darker hue. It's a very interesting place to grow up. But I learned a lot there about how to kind of survive what I feel like is the real world. You know what I'm saying? The real world, it ain't rainbows and butterflies. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to carry yourself. You got to know how to adapt to any room. You know what I mean? So it taught me a lot, to be honest with you, because I was always in a room where I felt like I had to figure it out. And when we come out here, the other stuff kind of seemed easy. If I'm being honest with you. But yeah, that's where I'm from.
Okay, so like what were your earliest introductions or influences to music?
Um, Man, I think my earliest that I could probably remember would be Prince. Introduction to music, because my dad was which is such an interesting, because he's like 6'4", been to prison about three something.
Prince is for everybody.
Yeah, he
Prince
like
is for
he
everybody.
is. You know what I'm saying? That was, I think I picked that up as a kid because as wild as Prince was, my dad, who was like a big gangster looking type, big old buff dude, was really cool with it. He would be singing it with the high pitch. He'd be doing all the things and mannerisms and all the things, and he, he had his guns and his gangster stuff. So it was like, oh, that's a really interesting thing to see as a kid. So I fell in love with like just the melodics and the theatrics of music very, very young. And then I didn't really feel like I was connecting to it in a way that I could create until like maybe high school. And I was listening to stuff like Missy and Timbaland and what they had going on in Pharrell. And Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes is a crazy creative that people don't talk about enough. But yeah, those are like my very, very, very first introductions to what music that my first ones. Yeah.
So was that like you said high school? Was that be like the same age that you felt like those people were they the same people that you made you want to start producing or when
Oh
you
yeah.
started producing?
Yeah, yeah. I started to realize maybe a little bit before high school, probably like in middle school, a little bit in middle school, that I could hear stuff a little differently. Like I could hear everything separately. When I was hearing beats and words, I could hear like the hi hat and I could hear the snare. I didn't know the names at the time, but I remember just being really into the music. And when I put my headphones on, I would kind of get lost in it. I didn't really know what producing was or how to do it, but I knew I liked it a lot. I paid attention. I heard the details, and my mom was too. My mom really like she picked good beats. I noticed that now. I'm like, mom had taste. She didn't always listen to like the most. She did listen to popular stuff, but she always had some joints that was just like really well produced. Now that I listen to them as an adult, and she was hearing good sonics, she just didn't know how to identify it. So stuff like there's a song by, I think it's called Glenn Jones. It's what is it? Do still care? Yeah, for me, I forget what it's called. Somebody will find it. And the drums, the mix on that song is immaculate. And I remember my mom just being obsessed with that song. And it wasn't like huge. It was just a really good, well written song, good sounds, well mixed. And I think that was just the stuff I was surrounded with, all really good music. Kirk Franklin on the gospel side, just really well put together music. So I kind of absorbed all of that before I started producing. I didn't even have a computer then, or no equipment for sure. So like computers was really a thing. Like only the rich people had computers. So we ain't had no computer. We ain't had no equipment. I ain't had none of that. So it was really just an idea in my head. And I think I started probably like singing and rapping and stuff before ever even thinking about beats. That was it.
What age did you start like actually producing? Like when did you start getting
Oh,
your equipment and really getting
uh,
into it?
I think it was 14, like 14. Really young, especially at that time. Like people weren't really starting that young. It used to be an older person type of thing. But I started at like 14 and maybe 13. I started on a program called Sorry about that. On a program called MTV Music Generator, which was a PlayStation video game that you could make beats on. And it was interesting. You couldn't like export anything. You had to like put your mic up to the TV and record it and try to make something out of that, which was just ridiculous. But that's how I started. and then eventually I got on FL Studio 3, I think it was, or 4, when I got like a gateway computer. Shout out to Sciencebound. I was in this fucking program. It's a program for the melanated, and it was awesome. I ain't gonna lie to you. All you had to do was like, I wonder, was it just was they experiment? I don't know. They might have been experimenting on us. I don't know what was happening.
I never heard of that.
I know you
I'm
might.
born and raised
like
LA. I never heard
thing,
of that,
but they would have. So what they did was they followed your life for like a few years to kind of see how you developed, and you had to like. They would do
so like a real social experiment.
Actually, yes. yes, actually. But there were other things involved with it too, like there were other things involved. But yeah, it was like they would just stay tapped in on you, and you would just they would have these cool benefits. One of them was getting a computer. It also led to me getting into this program that got me a scholarship for college. So they stay with you literally from, I think this was probably like late elementary to all the way through high school. And yeah, they would just tap in every few months and be like, 45-minute interview, super annoying, ask some really specific questions. I kind of like blocked that out till right now.
I'm like,
there you go, guys. I don't know what
that doesn't
is.
sound creepy to you.
Just a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I just said it out loud. I was in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, in case you guys were wondering where they were doing this. I don't know. Hey, I just
I'm like,
figured it
this
out.
sounds like the inner workings of like a sci-fi horror movie.
It does a little bit. I may have been experimented on.
Yeah.
I may have been. I don't know. They didn't give me no shots. There was no medicine involved. No gas mask.
It's purely social.
It was purely social. Okay. Type thing. You know,
all
ask
right.
some questions. And then they would give you stuff. So I really thought that was, it was, okay, so hold on. Before y'all get too crazy. There was a lot of people. It was not like secret. Like it was involved with the schools. Sounds really crazy now that I'm listening, but it was like in the schools and stuff, so everybody knew about it.
But only in this specific area.
Nah, she tried to entrap me, y'all. Look, it was everywhere. All kinds of schools. I actually got friends from other schools from that. It was some homies from Lincoln in there, some homies from Roosevelt, from East other high school. It was other people on there. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, that's how I got my first computer, because like I said, we couldn't afford a computer. But it came after I forgot what year it was. They gave us a gateway, and it was like you weren't supposed to do anything but schoolwork on it, and of course not. Didn't do that. Made beats on there. That's how I started. That's what I mostly did on there. Yeah, put it to good use. Shout out to Sciencebound. Please tell me what you did with my data. I would like to know where that's at. It's somewhere out there being studied. Here I am.
They just dissolved.
I have blossomed.
Yeah,
it's like, nah, they got it somewhere. They did something with that. I don't know. Actually, that is okay. Next question. Yeah. Next question.
Okay. Yeah. So what was the first track that you made that you like felt like I could do this? Like, this is it.
So before I was like, well, I should say this. The reason why I became a producer is because I was rapping and singing, and I was in some groups, and I was like, we were using instrumentals we were finding from popular stuff, and we were trying to figure out like how to actually do it. So I became the producer of the two of us to figure out like how. I was like, I'll figure it out, because we couldn't obviously pay for none either, and you couldn't even really buy beats back then either. It was a different time. So I was like, I'll just sit down and figure it out, and I ended up kind of researching what a producer was and how it unfolded, and I fell in love with the fact that as a producer you could attain a certain level of notoriety without having to be like famous. And I really enjoyed that idea. It was like, I have always been a very aware individual as a kid, and the repercussions of your choices, and I always felt like fame has so many repercussions, and like they make it look really nice, but you can't really undo it. At that time, it didn't feel like you could undo fame, so you'd just be stuck with just this alternate universe you started living in. And it comes with money too, of course. But you could be a producer and get money and not have fame if you don't want it. If you want it, you can go out and do it. But if you don't want it, you can just get your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, as I started doing that, I was like, dang, this is what I should do. And then the first beat I probably made, geez, I couldn't even tell you. We probably sang some horrible ass music on that thing. I don't know where it's at. It was probably
I don't know where it's at.
no clue. Should be destructed if you have it. Do not ever do anything with that ever. Yeah. So I don't know. I think that was the first time I decided, oh, this is cool. But probably the first time I really knew I had something was after I started beat battling, because up until that point I was making beats in a vacuum, you could say, because I'm in Iowa. So like I'm making beats with other dudes in Iowa, and even if I'm good, it's like, I mean, this is Iowa, man. You're not really that good. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I saw it. I don't know if that was true, but that's how I saw it.
No, there might be there's some people that come out of Iowa clearly. Clearly.
There is. And I will say this, shout out to my dog Bangladesh, because he's the only other producer that's really from Iowa that's really like that, and still claims Iowa and all the things. So there are two of us. There's 1, 2. I don't know if there's any more. Let me know. But I don't think there's any more of us. Yeah, I think it's just us. 1, 2, and we're both of the same hue.
Well, you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah,
for
we're
Iowa.
doing it at a high level.
You're doing it at a high level for Iowa.
Shout out. That's enough. All right. They gotta show me some love. For real. I ain't gonna hold you. It's like a lot of people. That's one thing about that. About like that particular city or other cities in that area. It's like you gotta. LA is like a big city, man. Like people know what's up. Like it's something that's aspired to. You kind of like claim it. Like I'm from LA. And all these things. People don't really do that about Iowa. It's just like it's Iowa. Oh, that's interesting. I would love to bring some prestige to the area, or some something else other than corn, which is what people think about. But I got it's reciprocal. Shout out to Iowa. Come holla at me. Y'all gotta holla at me. We can get some branding going. You know what I mean? Get the state together.
Like you heard him, Iowa. You heard him.
You know what I'm saying? Fires from
get Iowa's tourism up. Let's go.
Let's get it. That's a small percentage. Just small.
Little.
Yeah.
So what was your like break into the music industry, and what were your like your first placements, and then like what were the placements that you first felt like, okay, I'm starting to do something?
Yeah. So my first placement was technically Chris Calico, who is a small artist under Tech Nine, and Tech Nine was my second placement, and that's like the first one everybody really saw. I did a single for Tech Nine called Like Yeah, where he shout out to Tech Nine. For the people that aren't aware, he's one of the biggest independent artists ever. So inspiring. Like, that boy was like 3 hours away from Iowa, and when I went down there, it felt like I went into another dimension. They owned 2 blocks of just warehouses, so they had their own studio, they had their own everything, and it was independent. They wasn't a part of no label system, so it was really cool to watch them. But that was my first placement.
That's fire.
And he was super cool. It was a good introduction to business, because he didn't do no fuck business. He did really good business, real clean business. I figure I wanted to say that out. I'm glad I said that a lot, because he did really good business, and everybody don't. And it's right off the top. So it's kind of set my mind to be like, oh, people can do good business. So I knew going into the next situation that what to look out for.
I had a homegirl in high school that loved him.
Oh.
Her name was Tanya, and she was this Armenian girl.
Shout out.
And she loved him.
His fan base.
So much.
His fan base is crazy. Tech knows this. Tech does over 200 shows a year. You know what I mean? But he does it in very odd markets, like all over the place. He might hit LA because he actually used to live out here, but he will hit like Hogan Schmogan, Tennessee or something. I don't know. No disrespect if there is a Hogan Schmogan. No disrespect. But he would hit all these markets, and he would stay getting really dedicated fans. I love that about his trajectory, because a lot of especially at today's time, like it's hard to get a fan that's genuinely a fan that's gonna kind of ride with you. They're really just like your song, and then they kind of moving along. But back then, like he was able to build like a really cult like following. His shows are insane. He rehearses like a madman. He's not no lazy artist. artist, man. He really, really does the work, and he gets paid to do it. Quite nice as well. I was like, damn. It really was inspiring to stay independent.
Yeah. So did you have any like problems when you first broke into the industry?
Problems. I feel like, I'm a pretty optimistic person. There's always problems. I mean, your idea of what a problem is, so there's always an issue. My first issue is like, I'm in a group, and then I'll have to break up with my group because I just like, I don't want to be an artist, but I don't want to be a producer, bro. I'm not going to do that. What the hell? So I just do that.
Why am I here?
I'm like, what? I'm not doing that. Sing, I got to be on the stage. I got on the stage for that first time and I almost shit my pants. I was like, yeah, no. This ain't it. I'm about to actually shit. So let me just get off the stage right now. No, I want to go actually shit. But I'm saying it made me feel that. But you felt like nervous, it. Which, to that point, I hadn't really felt nervous like that. But I was like, yeah, I hated that. We kind of skipped past that, but I signed the T-Pain. So the T-Pain thing happened right after the tech thing, like really soon, probably within like 6 months of that tech nine thing happening. I was in Miami with T-Pain. And there's a story for that, if you'd like to hear it.
Of course I would.
Yeah. It's going to lead back to Audeobox because that's kind of like the whole thing. Like I started out as a beat battle producer, like I said. Like once I decided I was going to be a producer, I found a site called rockbattle.com. It's 2006. I'll never forget this. And, at that point, I hadn't produced for anybody, but I was just local artists. And I got on there and I was destroying people. I was like 19, about to be 20. And I was killing everybody from Iowa, and it was like it was the craziest thing. It was so shocking to everyone because there was like people from all over the world on there, and it was like this kid from Iowa is just like killing everybody. His name is Young Fyre. At the time, Young Fyre was like such a cool name. It was like the coolest name available. I mean, it's Young everybody now. I ain't gonna lie, but it was just the Young was newer. There wasn't no Lils or Youngs, so it was just a little bit more rare. And people were just like very good branding for the time, like fire beats, da da da. So the internet caught a wind of it. This is early internet, so I was like going viral for these battles, and I was on other sites, a site called PNP Worldwide, where I was selling independent beats to artists. And one day on there, this guy named Young Money, I'll never forget him. Actually, I'm so happy I get to shout him out too because I never really got a chance to shout him out. But Young Money introduced me to Young Cash. It's a lot of Youngs happening here. I just realized.
I know, you just said there wasn't that many Youngs and you're talking.
Yeah, but I guess we're all the cool guys, huh? All in one place.
The Youngs.
Yeah, the Youngs. All three of us. Young Money and Young Cash. Shout out to Young Cash. He's an incredible individual. I still, to this day, respect him so much because he's always been an authentic and real person. But Young Money had asked me to send him a pack, which I was I didn't send anything. I just was like nervous about sending stuff, so I didn't. And he was like, "Come on, nigga." Like,
just opted out.
I just opted out of everything though. It was like really weird. Producers, send your shit out. Like, I don't know if they still do that, but if you are still doing that, just don't do that. I wouldn't send nothing out, but then he just like kept asking me, and I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll send something. And he, also people be full of shit, so it was just like I had to deal with a lot of that too. So I was like, you know what, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna trust him. I sent him stuff, and then he called me back with Young Cash on a Ustream or something, like an AIM or one of those type of old joints, and I'll never forget it. I was talking to Cash, and I was like already a little like, this is crazy. I'm talking to Young Cash. I'm in Iowa. He's in Florida. He's next to T-Pain. This is nuts. I was a huge fan of T-Pain before that. I was like obsessed with T-Pain, and I was on the phone. I was like, okay. And he was just telling me, man, your shit is so hard, bro. This is amazing, bro. You play this, you play beats, and then he was like, yo, but let me say something. I'm just the man standing next to the man, and then I'll never forget T-Pain slid in from off camera, just as animated as you would imagine. Hey, buddy. And I was like, oh my God, it's fucking T-Pain. I stood very stoic though, because it's poker time.
Gotta be
we
cool.
gotta be cool, man. We chilling, you know what I'm saying? What's up, T-Pain? How you doing, brother? So I guess this
Inside?
Wednesday. Yeah, all that. All that. It's Wednesday. I remember the day. It was a Wednesday. Yeah, and I was talking to it. He's like, yeah, man, I really love your beats. I'm working on my album here, and in Miami. He was living in Atlanta, but he was working in Miami long term. And he was like, I just scrapped my album, and I would love for you to come help me rebuild it. And I was just like, yes, when
Opting in.
opting in, yes. And then within I think it was 2 days, I was gone, and I was gone in Miami. And I stayed out there and I worked with, it was mind blowing. I ain't gonna lie. That first, what was this? This is 2009, almost 2010. And it was crazy. At that time, Drake, Nicki, Wayne, Birdman, they were all working in the same studio paying called Hit Factory in Miami. And that parking lot was insane. I mean, like Bugattis, every car you ever thought of, right there. And it was just like a kind of an open studio format. They had hella rooms, but everybody would be just chilling outside. So you would just see Wayne chilling over here. You might see, Wayne was a lot in the studio, but he might be outside. But then you would also see all the other stars, Lil Twist and all the guys that was under them, Chucky and all them they had at the time. It was insane. You would just pull up and everybody. Khaled was always there. I met Khaled at the time. I met Ross at that time. That studio, I met Timbaland at that time. And it was just insane. So I walked into that situation and was like, immediately from level wherever I thought I was to the highest level available. But yeah, it was a crazy introduction. I went from being in Iowa to kind of being he was at the biggest thing in the world at that time. He had all the hits, all the things, and yeah, it was a beautiful learning experience. I learned everything. I learned songwriting. I watched that man create from zero things. Man, he could produce and write and do all the things too. And he's insanely talented, insanely talented. To this day, I haven't seen another writer that is as quick and as efficient at like making hits. It's one thing to make a song. Like I know hella people that make great songs and shit, but like he gets to the gut of what a hit is real fast. It ain't no playing. He ain't overthinking nothing. He just goes into this like brain thing and this, and I think I've absorbed that, and I've been able to use that as a songwriter in the second half of my career. When producing started to get a little bit boring, just because I've been doing it so long. It's like songwriting is like a whole new thing. And I found that watching Payne and Wayne and all these guys create, I didn't know, but I was learning. I was absorbing all that while they were doing that. And when I started writing, I like skipped a million levels. I was like super good, really fast, because I just been around it for so long. Yeah. So I didn't have to do that like weird, awkward songwriter struggle where you go from like blue is just like very I didn't have that
12-year-old songwriter skills.
Yeah, not that. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it just
no shade to the 12-year-old songwriters. Keep
shout
going.
Out to y'all.
Keep going.
You gotta cover your toes.
I'm not a songwriter, so you're doing better than me.
There she go. Shout out to you. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, that's it. What else you got for me?
Okay, well, let's see. So you've worked with a lot of artists, been with a lot of artists, around a lot of artists. What's your favorite collab? And why?
Favorite? I think my favorite experience was probably Will Smith. Even though none of the records we did came out, like maybe one of them came out like on a fucking Instagram clip or something, but we did a lot of records. And what was cool about it was I was able to travel around the world and work with him. This was during when he was working on Gemini Man, the movie. He was in Savannah, Georgia. So my first session with him was in Savannah, Georgia. And we had a killer session. I wrote and produced for him and engineered, because they ended up having no really good engineers in Savannah, Georgia. Surprise, surprise. Luckily, I knew how to engineer. And so I just hopped behind a computer and started writing. I had to produce, I had to do the whole thing, and Will saw that, and he's an incredible, like, he takes direction well. Obviously, he's an actor, but I didn't really realize, because, you know, I dealt with so many artists, and I would just give him a bar, and he'd be like, got it. Got it. And it would be like maybe 2 takes.
Got it.
He just every time you could see his brain like taking it in and then just processing and then doing it. He doesn't want to do 100 takes because, bitch, I'm performing right now. I'm actually performing. I'm not just trying. He's actually doing it. So it was very eye opening to see like his level of locked inness. And then from there, we traveled to Budapest. We went to Cartagena, which was freaking insane, and Colombia, and we kind of went on like a little traveling recording tour, and during that whole time he's also just dropping, I mean, he doesn't waste a word. No single word he says is useless. It's all got some kind of juice on it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just, you just like, yes, everything is a gem, everything. So you just listening, I'm learning, I'm getting wisdom. Shout out to my OG, Omar. He's the one that actually connected me. I had been working with him prior on Jade and stuff, and he, you know, eventually introduced me to Will, and I was just like, yeah, I am in a crazy position, because I also had idolized Will my entire life since I was a kid. Like, I had these big ass ears when I was a kid, and they used to be like, this little Will Smith nigga. He used to say shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, one day, niggas.
Like, you say that as an insult, but,
yeah, but
who's really winning?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
We'll never think this little old black boy from Iowa would be actually meeting Will Smith, especially at that time. It was crazy. I had put him on my vision board too, so it was super surreal. Like, not a lot of people I wouldn't put on my vision board, but he was one of the people I put on there. And I think you didn't ask for this, but I'm gonna give you a second place, because it's also crazy. It was Britney Spears for sure, because, you know, Britney, oh man, like,
we
biggest.
love Britney.
Like,
we love Britney.
It's the biggest. Like, I grew up in
like
peak Britney.
Oops, I Did It Again. We love Britney.
Come on, like, we were obsessed. I'm a boy who was obsessed, a man. Like, you know, I was obsessed.
Like,
We just you wanted to be like her or you wanted to be with her. That was the thing, right? She was just such
and her performance and entertainment skills are just
incredible.
Like,
she was flawless. She was such a class act. You know, she really held it to get shit. Knowing what I know about this industry now, I'm like, wow, she should be, man, this shit is crazy. And she really showed so much class and poise during her reign. And so for me, there's only so many people that I will put in that space, and she was absolutely, I need to keep that with me, but I had a vision board. Will Smith was on there, and she was on there right next to each other. Like, this is still when I was living in Atlanta that I made this. Like, right before I left to LA is when I made this vision board. So on red paper, I got almost everything off that vision board. I had a Grammy on that vision board, and a house on that vision board, kid on that vision. I had all the things on that vision board. And Will was a crazy one, and Britney was one that, like, I knew I was going to meet Will, though. Like, I just knew in my spirit, but I did not think I was going to be working with Britney Spears. Like, that just seemed like a crazy one. I don't even know why my brain told me to put Britney on the board, but I did. And I did. And
like one of those outlandish ones.
Yeah,
like this might probably never happen, but they say reach for the stars, so I'm reaching.
There you go. That part. And
look where it got you.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Vision Board. Shout out to Intention. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Intention.
Just not being super aimless. I do agree that you should kind of feel your way around and be, you know, curious, but Intention is heavy, man. Like, I really wanted to work with a pop artist. Like, and when I thought about who, it was her.
And you got the pop artist. Not the.
And you know what was also really cool about that experience was she really loved the music. Like, I mean, there's a moment when I was in a session. I actually had the session with her, by the way. It wasn't like I sent the beat in and no, we actually had a session with Britney Spears in the room. Nerve-wracking, but, you know, it was unbelievable. She loved the music so much, and she was telling me to my face. So it's not like I was hearing it through an email or my manager. She's like, Fyre, I love it. And she's saying my name, first of all. Britney Spears saying her name sounds crazy. Like, Fyre, oh my God, this is so good. I'm just so I'm so much. There's a point I really wish I could have got it, so I could have took it for a tag. She's like, "Fire, your beats are fire," and I was like, "Oh,
That would have been fire.
Brittany, can you say that one more time in the mic for your boy?" I didn't have to go and ask to do it today. I would do that. I would be like,
Yeah.
"Listen, let's get on that mic right now, record that, get that." But back then, I was just honored.
Yeah.
And but it was so cool because she was just like I imagined, super sweet. You know what I'm saying? She was very attentive. She popped in. She hung out with the guy. She ended up recording the song, a little bit of it there, and then recording the rest later, at somewhere else. And then I ended up going back and editing the vocals and working with shout out to my guy Mishka who did all her vocals. I went to his studio and edited them, and it was so much amazing things with that I just there was another side. I did a lot of urban up until that point. This is pop, so I was getting respect on a different level from the producer community. It was really cool.
That's really cool. So what was your most like challenging experience or collaboration? Names aren't needed if you know.
Challenging collaboration. I don't know if I had like I. What I could say is my most challenging experience in the industry, just in general, was being signed to a deal. Like I resonate with Hit Boy. Hit Boy just had a interview come out where he talked about how he was stuck in a deal for 18 years, which is insane. And shit, just like, how is that even legal? How is that possible? Like, where have we gone so wrong that we've allowed somebody to be in what is basically slavery for 18 years? And I went through the same thing. As beautiful as the T-Pain situation was, there's a lot of crazy dark stuff that happened in that situation. And one of them being stuck in a contract for 10 years. You know what I mean? I was stuck for 10 years.
That's a long time to be stuck anywhere.
It was a very long time. It had a crazy mental toll. You know what I mean? You have to figure out how, as a man, to deal with being stuck in something that you can't do nothing about, which is like, we problem solvers, man. We problem solve. We like to figure it out, keep it moving, and not let stuff linger. It's
and on your creative, like, everything, like, being stuck, it's like...
Yeah, it feels like, and I don't even know if it was just my own self-counsel. I had a couple people I talked to about it at the time that was like, made me, made sure I had a decent perspective on it, because it's easy, and I've seen a lot of people succumb to this like crash out of like, you are right. Like, if I would have crashed out, I wouldn't be wrong. Like, I'm right. But what does it really get you? And I think that, we have to think about the consequences of the things that we're doing and doing what's best for us in the end. I knew that it wasn't good for me to dwell on the fact that I was stuck in the contract. The best thing for me to do was to keep working, because they couldn't actually hold me. Like, I'm creating. You can't stop me. All you can do is take a percentage of the stuff that I'm making unjustly, but you're just taking it. You're not stopping me from doing nothing. You can't stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm creating it. So unless I'm only exclusively working with the people that are there, as long as there are other people to work with, I can keep getting it. And that's exactly what I did. It was like 2013. By 2012, it had got to a point, where the situation was just so toxic around there. It wasn't necessarily paying all the way. There was, we had our things going, but it was just everything around him, around his life. He was going through a lot of stuff. The people that were signed to him, it was a little, it was a little wonky. Everything was dark, and it wasn't what I signed up for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't like this. Like, I felt like just exhausted with it. So I was like, I've been talking to my lawyers at the time, my management at the time, and they were like, you can't really do anything about it. So you just kind of got to work it out. And, creation comes for me, you got to be in a good state of mind. Like, your clarity and your mental is everything. So like trying to create from a space of just like constant annoyance, stress, or resentment, or like whatever emotion you got going on, it's not usually going to create the best music. And at the same time, I'm going through like the producers breaking up, me doing that, like getting rid of that situation. So it was just a lot going on at the same time. And I decided, I was like, I'm gonna just do this again by myself. I'm gonna go to LA. I hated LA at the time. I hated this shit. I was like, bro, it was so. I had nobody
Everybody
out
hates
here.
LA until they come out
Yeah,
here.
I had nobody out here, and I was really only coming out here for work, like so much, and I had just been spending so much money on travel. I was like, yeah, let me just go so that I could be there and not spend a bazillion dollars going back and forth and still be paying rent in Atlanta. So I just made the decision. I was like a year from today, which was July 31st of that 2012. I was like, in a year from now, I am going to get to LA, and I was July 1st, excuse me, July 1st. I had a very strict date, and I was not going to move. I was not going to move that date, and come hell and high water, and it did. Let me tell you something. I swear, you say you want some shit, you better want that, because it's not. I won't say I won't put that on your life. Maybe it'll be easy for you, but it was not easy for me. Okay,
Yeah.
like soon as I said that, universe like, all right, nigga, you say you want, all right,
How
cool,
much?
Cool. How much you say you want that? All right, Jack, you want to do it by yourself too? How you think you strong, Mr. Man? Yeah. So I left in 2000. And I never forget, man, I probably had about 30 bands on me at the time. Like that was probably like the whole of my money, maybe $40,000. And I remember it cost me like 20 something $1,000 to move from Atlanta to LA. And I remember being down to some crazy low amount of money. Because when I moved to LA, I had to get a separate studio. In Atlanta, you can have a big ass house and your studio can be in it and it's all good. Not in LA. You must have a separate establishment because you can't put no studio in no apartment, which is the only thing you can afford in LA. So you had to have two separate places if you wanted to have your own thing, or you had to always be renting studios, which I already knew was just a sinkhole. You can't just be, you'll be broke quick. So I had to release two different places, had to move a 5-bedroom house, all and downsize to a 3-bedroom to LA. And get this studio and then restart with no real crazy connections here. Like I had a couple, but I built it up. I don't have any fear. I never really had no fear about success or not success. That's one thing about it. I'm like, I'm going to be all right because I'm going to do the work. But it was definitely back up against the wall. Like you got to figure this out, my boy, because you are deep in this thing. And it worked out for the better for sure. It put me in a different type of pressure where I was like, yeah, we can't really let up. We got to keep going, and we do got to build a brand that is separate from T-Pain. We do got to build a brand that is its own thing, and that's exactly what I started to do. Shout out to LA. That's gonna grind your ass, gonna grind you up. You know what I'm saying? Look, you sink or swim, brother. And I was swimming, so it was all good. It's all good. That was definitely the hardest thing I think that I had to overcome in 2020 during the pandemic. They ended up letting me out of my contract because they wanted to sell a portion, whatever they wanted to do. They were like, all right, we'll let you out if you give us da-da-da-da. And I was like, all right, cool. So they let me out. And, it wasn't, I will say this, because it's not about, slandering or whatever about pain. He was trying to get me out and he was stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like he was stuck in some shit. And he couldn't really do too much, and he ain't me. Like, I'm the type of nigga like, you not gonna be stuck.
Yeah.
If you under me, even if I'm stuck, I'm gonna get you out because that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll just die on the treadmill until you out. That's not who he is. You know what I'm saying? He did what he felt like was enough. It didn't work, and he was like, sorry. He's like, what I could do is help you, work it out. You know what I'm saying? I could help you work these placements off. But at that point, I was just too burnt up with all the crazy shit. I was like, bro, you just gotta let me out. And he was like, so it was really unfortunate. But at that, it was just what it was, unfortunately. And then when that pandemic came around, everybody was looking for some money. They let your boy go. Let your boy go. So I've been free since 2020, independent, writing and producing. So all the smashes that I done got since then, your boy got those. And they've been on my head top to sign again, but it's like, for what? I've been managing myself for 10 years, over 10 years. I'm getting the placements. I'm in the rooms. What? Yeah, it doesn't really make sense to sign a deal or to even have necessarily a certain type of management that's just going to really take a piece and not do anything. Yeah. We all know how this goes. It's just the clout industry, man. It's clout and a little bit of skill. Like, if you got some clout going, bro, the door is open. You don't need a manager to do that if you're not scared to have a conversation. You know, like only if you're like mega introverted and you feel like you can't talk for yourself, then you can. Not to say that, you know, definitely get a manager, but I'm just saying if it's something you have to do, it's something you can do. You know, you can do it. You just
can
have
do
to
it
have a
on
conversation. You know. So yeah, it was a very difficult period, but now honestly, it's beautiful because I really value the freedom. I really value my time, you know, and contracts. You know, yeah, read your contracts, kids. I mean, I did. I definitely did. The crazy thing is, it wasn't a bad contract per se at the time. Like the reason why I took the deal, because I'm not no dummy, and I think this is also important for people to know, because you can think that you're smart and you got shit figured out and da da da. And to a degree, I did. I had read the Passman book. I knew my business. It wasn't a bad deal on paper. It was just MDRC, and at the time, that was the standard. MDRC, for those who don't know, is a record that your deal is basically dependent on your number of placements and the percentage that you own of those records. So I had an MDRC of like 5 and songs for 3 terms, which is 15 songs, which is really, as a producer, if you produce everything, 30 songs. So it's a long ass deal. You got to get 30 placements basically before you would recoup that whole deal, and it's a crazy long ass deal. Like that could be your entire career. Some people don't get 30 placements their whole career in 20 years. You know what I mean? So basically, and then it also had other stipulations where it had to be on a major released album. It had to sell over 100,000 albums. If it didn't sell over 100,000, it didn't count. If it was a single that wasn't on the album, if it didn't go platinum, it didn't count. So
okay.
So for me, I was getting placements and they were doing decent, but they weren't like, so certain things weren't counting. Like I remember I did a few songs with Tank. They didn't count. He didn't sell 100,000 either, or had high percentage on them. I was just so annoying. It was like one of those things where you really can't, you just like, what are you going to do? The game is, and the game shifted. That was the real thing, is the game shifted during that time. It was like, maybe streaming came along. The value of the music started to go down. But I was just stuck in an antiquated deal. Like if I was in that deal in the 90s or something, or even the early 2000s when Pain was in his super, super light, then I probably could have got out of it a little bit easier because it was just a lot less competition. And then, time happened and things just started getting real crazy.
Since you've been doing your own thing and out of your deal, what do you feel like has been your most rewarding song that you've produced so far? Like personal connection rewarding.
I probably Conceited for Flo Milli, because that was the first one that I wrote the hook on. That had to be how that happened was really cool, and I ended up working with Flo a lot. We built a really good relationship. We started working for a few years. We've been working together since I was 22, I think. So we've been working for about 3 years, which is a long time in music time now. Shout out to Flo. But yeah, that was a really important one for me, because as a songwriter up until that point, I was on co-writes, but that one was me. You know what I'm saying? I just wrote the hook and I did the beat. I did it in my Santa Clarita house when I was out there in Santa Clarita. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, it had a special place in my heart, because I wrote it as a man. Like, I felt like a man saying he's conceited is a crazy take. You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking like Uzi or like something. When I wrote it, I was like, oh, not even knowing if Uzi would take something, he would. But I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, this is hard.
Yeah.
Feeling myself, I'm conceited. Shit on myself. I just was waiting. And anyways, how that happened was, shout out to my dog Cosign, who is an incredible producer. It's my dog. We've been friends through Trinidad for a while, and he had a meeting with A&R named Skane. Shout out to Skane, I'm an incredible guy too. He's been in the game forever, and Skane, he was playing Skane songs for the female artist on RCA. He was playing him. He played him a song for Lady London that Lady London had already done, called "What Is It Giving," and it's a hit. It was a big old hit. Now, what ended up happening with it, whatever. But the song itself is a hit, and Skane heard it and was like, "Oh, I need that for Flo. This is crazy. It's crazy." And he was like, "Sorry, man. I actually already sold it. I'm not even sure why I played that."
That wasn't supposed to play.
Yeah, I don't know if he was at the end of his tank.
My bad.
Of his like play. Sometimes you're just done playing and you got this last one. Let me just play this because I need to make sure they know I make hard shit. I don't know what was happening, but then, well, you got to play me something else. And then, Coast texted me. He texted me. He was like, "Yo, bro, send me one song. I just need one song for Flo Milli." And I sent him that. And then they called me on FaceTime within like 5 minutes. It was like, "Hey, Skane." And once they call you on FaceTime, you know what time it is. After you just sent a record, he called me on FaceTime. He was like, "This is insane. Like, this is actually insane." They was both going crazy listening to it. Shout out to my dog Coast, because people don't do that, man. That's a lost art too, where somebody will just come in and actually pass a record for you, not on no like, "Hey, I'm finna take all this," and nah. I ended up, giving him a piece of the record just because I want some GP as a good homie. I'm like, I appreciate you, and because you ain't come on nowhere, so let's do that. But that was very fulfilling because it was from the homie, and it was a situation where I know they really was looking and they needed something, and I was the one that did that. You know what I'm saying? That was really dope. So for me, that was a very special record.
That's cool. So how did it feel to win your first Grammy?
Ooh, I had been nominated for 2 Grammys before, so I kind of was familiar with the process of not winning. I'll tell you that much. I was familiar with that. And this, the one that I actually ended up winning for is super interesting because it's actually for writing. So I wrote a song for this group called 50/50 in Cali. It was on the Barbie soundtrack. And shout out to my dog Trinidad James. He hit me up one day and was just like, just super last minute, "Hey, Callie needs a verse for this song. Pull up on me and let's do this." And me and him pulled up to his studio. We had the song, wrote the verse. Me, him, and my dog Kane, Super Kane, shout out to Kane, wrote it in like literally 7 seconds. We're all like Jedi level writers, so we just knew the mission, did it quick. Really ain't think too much craziness after that. Didn't really think about it. It's like it's another song for a soundtrack, so it's cool. And then it got nominated for a Grammy. And we're like, "Oh, shit, we might actually have a chance here," because this is the Barbie movie. And, like, it's like these awards, they're all it's clout, man. Like, you got to know, like, if you got, it does not necessarily the best song or whatever that's going to always win. It is usually a mix of the song and the impact. And I knew Barbie had a crazy impact. So I just felt like we were going to win that. And we did. And so, that was incredible. You know what I'm saying? I was able to call my dog Trinidad. He was in another state at the time. And we were able to congratulate each other on something that we did just very passively, end up winning a Grammy. And it was crazy, So, yeah, there's that. And then, before that, I was nominated for production on, shout out to Tamar, Braxton, and then Lil Wayne on the Carter 4. So, it's just, those are great. But I did not win, so.
Did actually winning change your outlook on?
No, not really, because I'm a grown up at this point. Like, I ain't aspiring for no awards per se anymore. Like, that's not really what I'm on. It just happened to happen, and I also know the reality of what's gonna happen when you win an award. It's like it's not necessarily gonna change your life unless you got Song of the Year or something that's like really the award is just the cherry on top. It's not like the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like you already went number 1, and then they gave you a Grammy, and now people are like stamping you. But yeah, no, I didn't really expect too much to change. It's really just a piece of paper, to be honest with you. It's like it's just an award. So, shout out to the Grammys though. I'll take more.
So thank you though.
I'll take more. No, they know what's up. We appreciate it for sure. I wish there was more award shows for us. You know what I mean? I wish there was something that respected, Black culture. I wish we didn't just get rid of the one that we did have. So it is. I mean, we still got one of them, but I don't know. I feel like I would love it if there were just other awards that you could win that were as coveted. So there were other things to aspire. Even on the film side, there's a few awards that you can aspire to that have about the same prestige, and they all, that's what you want. But I don't know. It is what it is. So we got the Grammys, and I appreciate the Grammys. Um, but it's not like anything that. None of that stuff is stuff that I'm like, oh man, I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good outlook to have, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, at a certain point, it definitely was, and then I realized also through other people getting them too. It's like, it's kind of like I didn't see the change in their life. Certain people I did see it change their lives, but not. Again, it would be people that were like song of the year type thing.
Yeah.
So I already knew what it was, and it's cool. It's really, I would say this is great for my mom. Like I felt amazing sending it to my mom when I sent my copy. I bought a copy for her to have in her house, and I mean, she probably took more, like
more pride in it.
Yeah, she was just so happy. You know what I mean? Like for me, that was awesome. Like she sent me a long text, and she put it in a nice frame and set it somewhere she could see it every day. She's like, I walk by this every day, and I'm so proud that all this crazy ass shit you was doing as a kid, you was right. You was right.
You did it.
They said you was fucking bad. She was right. And so that part I think was probably more rewarding than anything, because for me that's what it's about. Like it ain't never been about the little reward. That shit feels crazy, and I wasn't prepared for that. Also, like I wasn't like expecting my mom to send me this long thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank you, thank you, Mom. Yeah, so that was cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So, as an established hit maker, what drives you to keep innovating and creating new sounds?
At this point, I feel like I just got a new spark of creativity, because I feel like the game it needs people that really give a shit. That isn't always the case. Like it's a capitalistic system, so we're basically here for marketing and promo, and like whoever has the best marketing wins. That's always going to be the case, but right now, the people are actually desiring more meaning. We just had all this crazy stuff going in Atlanta. Whenever y'all see this, y'all have already known about this Atlanta stuff. So I don't know what's going on in Atlanta, but Atlanta culture is about to go crazy, which means street culture about to go crazy. And it's already, I'm gonna say this on why it's lame. Like it's not cool to be a street nigga. Like that's why is that cool to kill people, sell drugs, and do things harmful to your own community? I don't think that's cool. I never thought that was cool. I got cousins and people that, I got cousins that got 40 years behind that shit. Like it's not cool. It's not cool to me. So I'm excited for the death of that. I would be excited for us to be talking about something else. Life is so vast. There's so much happening. There's a lot to talk about. We ain't always got to be talking about killing somebody or taking somebody's girl or
who died, why they died.
Yeah, and you already lived it. Like, why do we need to put that on? Shout out to them. No disrespect to everybody that's living that reality, because I know that that's a privilege to be able to say these type of things, but the reality is at some point we have to stand up and be like, yo, bro, what is we doing?
Yeah.
How hip hop started was on some intelligence. It was like the bright minds. It wasn't like nobody was killing each other. That wasn't the point. It was like, hey, hippity hoppity, we're going to have a good time tonight. And then doing all the good hip dancing and like showing love to your crew. And then there was like KRS-One giving you knowledge about your brain, like how to operate as a man, and Wu-Tang and all that. And then I felt like it was hijacked, and it was turned into something that was just crazy. Like, what are we doing right now? What we celebrating? What? This is ridiculous. Like, it doesn't actually make any type of sense. And I feel like I am, so involved with living that type of life that I can provide authentic source of that kind of music through anybody that I'm working with. If you look at my catalog, I ain't got none of that shoot 'em up, gang, bang, bang stuff on there. That's intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can get with them niggas too. It's not that I don't rock with them. Y'all see them and I'll be cool with them, but it's just not something I like to promote. As much as I can help it. I got to pay my bills, so if something come across the line, there's a couple things that might be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I, for the most part, try to stay true to what I enjoy, what I would like, my kids to be able to enjoy. And that's really what keeps me excited about it today, because I feel like it's kind of like we ain't got no super producers no more. Well, who's a super producer? Even the guys, no disrespect to any of the guys that's popping, but like, when I was coming up, the Timbalands and the Pharrells, like, they were like huge figures. Quincy, they were like really something to aspire, and that's what the mission I'm on right now. I want people to know that I'm an independent creator that is able to write, produce, mix, engineer a song from top to bottom alone. You know what I'm saying? And then also curate your artists. Like that's another thing, the artist development. I can coach your artist on how to perform the song, how to perform the song in the studio and on stage, how to do the content that they need to do, that they need to do. Like I am, for all intents and purposes, a super producer. That's just not really branded these days. And so that's really what my campaign is and why I'm outside now is like, we need to champion the guys that actually know what they're doing, care about their craft, and want to create a legacy for what they're doing. Some people to aspire to, because a lot of these, they ain't got nothing to aspire to. That's why we keep getting the same beat. And it's like, what am I aspiring to? The same trap producers over and over and over again? Like, of course, they're going to get the same thing. But back, when I was growing up, it was a lot of diversity. We had Babyface, we had Darkchild, we had Timbaland, we had Pharrell, we had Quincy, we had Lil Jon. All of them guys had different sounds. Jermaine Dupri, shout out to Jermaine Dupri, does not
they
nearly
all
good
sounded
enough.
different.
Completely. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like weird per se. It wasn't like they were trying to be all different and weird. They were just doing different things.
Yeah.
And they stood on their ground, and they actually did this too. This is another thing that I think is missing. It's coming out and talking to the people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I've done horribly at. Like, and I'm starting to do better now. It's like a part of being a super producer is being a star too. You know what I'm saying? Timbaland a star, like Pharrell a star, bro. These are stars. I'm a superstar. If you feel my energy, an actual person, oh, he's a star. That's why I would go into sessions and I would be like, people would be like, oh, are you the artist? Because I'll be coming in dressed like this, and I'll be like,
are you an artist?
No, I'm the producer. The artist is gonna come in, and sometimes I'll be outshining the artist. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a calling. It's something that I would always run away from because people always try to get me to be an artist, and I was just like, I hate it because obviously, from what I said earlier in the interview, but as I've grown older and I realized that star energy is important for being a super producer. You need to radiate something that people like and something that people want to aspire to, and you need to do some shit that people want to see. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's all I'm really focused on these next few years, especially the records that I'm doing and people that I'm working with. It's like all on some super producer stuff. We need to be doing bigger things, like just impactful sounds that are different. You know what I'm saying? Sounds that you're standing on that's not a trap sound. We got to move forward. At some point, we got to pick up our boots and kick to something else, guys. Like, trap will always be there. Shout out to trap. But we got to do some other stuff too. So that's what I'm really focused on.
Cool. So you were talking about bigger things. Let's talk about Audeobox. What is Audeobox? Explain it to the people, and how did you start it?
So, Audeobox, as it sounds, is audio boxing, basically. It's like two beats, one-on-one, battling each other. The better beat wins, right? And so how Audeobox works is basically two producers sign up. One uploads a beat, another uploads his beat. It's in a pool. They get matched, and then the community votes. And after a few days, the winner is decided. The community is able to leave comments and leave feedback on them. I also stream live on Twitch and give these guys feedback. Something I wish I had when I was growing up, where you're not just creating in the vacuum anymore. You actually get some feedback from somebody that's been there and can help you move faster. So that's what our whole platform is about. We battle there, and we're basically rebranding beat battles into competitive production, because I feel like beat battles has just historically sounded like old hip-hop backpacky type rap battles, which is just not good, like branding. And so what our mission is to rebrand it as competitive production. We have a league called a Competitive Music Production League, CMPL. Shout out to the producers. And our goal is to align with the gaming community. I believe that I would say that competition in any form is valuable, but when you look at the impact of music in the world and how important it is, it's actually crazy that we're not able to monetize it in a different way, right? When you think about gaming, which is something that it was a pastime. One day somebody had that brilliant idea to be like, let me play as somebody else for some money. You know what I'm saying? And let me put a tournament to that thing. It's actually a historical fact. There was a guy that did this. Forget his name, but he auctioned off a red Porsche for a gaming competition. That was the first gaming competition ever. And people showed up, got news, got all these headlines and a lot of attention, and it spawned the esports. And nobody would have kind of saw that coming. Up until then, it was nerds playing. It was like, you need a nerd, you playing games, you're a nerdy little nigga. But now, People make $1 million playing games at the crib in they gym shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a new world, and the vision that I see, Audeobox creates an energy where you have these in-person battles that are like an EDM concert that are super, the light show is insane, right? And people are pulling up already. We know that there's evidence of that, of people pulling up for EDM shows. They do that with no words, right? These are just beats. They're not songs. They're not no artists. They're just a guy up there on a DJ saying, going, yeah, and some really cool beats, right? So that market is already there. And then we have the gaming market, which is already there. So we have fans on both sides. And then music has such a tie to our spirit that, you get imagine people producing on a high competitive level in front of an audience of thousands of people, with everybody having the ability to vote and interact in this and choose their winners. It's an insane concept. And we're living it on the ground level on the internet right now. We've done a couple of in-person, shout out to our partners that we've done with Splice, Apogee. And it's an incredible event where you're just like, what the hell? These guys they're doing, like, when you think about beats as an artist, there's only so much you could do. Like, you can't get too crazy because the artist still got to rap on it or sing on it. But when you're doing battles, it is essentially like an artist's free flowing art. You don't have to be in a canvas. You can just do whatever. Like, you can use all of your talents instead of just like, a 4-bar loop that's stripped back and then added. No, you can do a beat switch. You can do this and you can do that. And then when all that is synced, it looks insane. It's synced on our site to, like, we have a visual element to it that's all synced to the music, so it just looks really exciting. But in person, it's like, geez, this is just like, it's so cool. If you ever been to an EDM show, you know what I'm talking about. And when you think about, it's actually two producers, one side and another side, and they, yeah, my beat's better, dude. No, my beat's better. Da da da. And then you, as an audience, get to participate into it. It's an insane, it's an electric experience. It's fun. It's really fun, and I look forward to building that out into something that's a sport, and another way for producers to get revenue, because they're devaluing us to the bone. They're trying to. We have AI now, guys. We have AI. It's here. It's real. It's a thing, and they are trying to wipe us out. So, one of our efforts is to battle this oncoming AI thing that we're about to get into, and find other ways for producers to monetize themselves, and if there's battles where they can win prizes, cash, sponsorships, build fans outside of the industry that have nothing to do with, I feel like it will be another thing for producers to aspire to, like a producer MBA. A producer like, oh, I don't have to go deal with this treacherous ass industry because I am introverted and I could never do that. So most people aren't ready for that. Yeah. There are millions of producers that could do this, and they just aren't cut out for the industry. Yeah. So this is like provides another path for a producer when you come to that crossroads of like, I'm taking this serious now. So what do I want to do? You don't have to just sell your beats online. Maybe now you could compete and you could become a professional competing producer, win awards and travel the world and do things like that. So that's what we on.
That's cool. Yeah. That sounds like so much fun.
It is. It's inside. It's
like exciting. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's been super rewarding too for me, because obviously I started out as a beat battler, and to be able to offer a better experience than I had coming up to these guys has been super fulfilling. Giving them that, and then like, oh, they didn't know this was even a possibility. So yeah, I'm excited for the growth over the next few years.
Has being a CEO changed how you look at the industry?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Mostly because you have to consider, you need to be empathetic as a CEO dealing with different types of personalities. Some people are really great at taking directions. Some are very autonomous. And as a leader, you need to know what kind of person you're dealing with and how to delegate and how to not take things personally. Music feels like it's always personal. Business doesn't, it feels like you're getting, there are things that you're not doing right, and you need to keep fine tuning until you get it right and your customers make it satisfied. And it's not the same as like making a music where you just feel like you're being attacked for your art. We got to change this, do this. I'm sensitive about my, that part. It kind of it helps me with dealing with the business of this as well. Like, I know that it ain't always art. It's sometimes business.
What advice would you give to young producers trying to get noticed today?
I would tell them, first of all, to sign up to audiobox.com, AUDEO because that is the way to break through. I literally was just doing some ads for it today, and one of the concepts is like, it's a million trap producers. Like, how do you stand out? In reality, social media is dead. Like, you can't. What kind of beat you gonna do that's gonna be so hard that Instagram about to just give you millions of likes?
Yeah,
it's just not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, TikTok is, you might. You know what I'm saying? But it's still so much competition. Audiobox is brand new. It's like a new source of discovery. So we got artists finding producers for the first time they've never heard of. We got fans finding people that they're fans of as producers they didn't even know they could be fans of. We have streamers that are fans of these producers. So that would be one of the first things I would do. Sign up to a new community that has new eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? That are eager for what's there, which is, your beats. And on the other side, as a placing producer, I would say today what's going to really help you is learning how to do more than just the beat. Songwriting is at an all-time low. Like,
becoming a super producer.
Yeah, you really got to do that. Like, if you don't figure out how to become multi-talented, you'll be waiting forever on another songwriter or an artist to complete your art. And it's just a lot tougher to get placements that way. If you can come with the beat and a hook, or a beat and a concept, you would do a lot better. And then I would also say, try to build with somebody independent at this moment. It makes more sense to build with somebody independent than to chase placements, because you could own a share of the master, which you will never get when you're working with a placement. You'll get just the writer share. So if you were to do a deal with an independent artist, you'll be able to share both the publishing and the master. And if you're able to have some success, whether you're signed to each other or not, you'll win really big. If you're able to get a song that is synced in a major movie where you get a 6-figure sync, you'll catch 2 checks instead of the one that you get as a publisher. People don't really know about that. You'll also catch, the bigger portion of the streaming money. People don't realize that the biggest portion of that streaming money comes from the master side. It's 8 times more valuable than the publishing side. And the label gets the biggest majority of that. So as a producer and a creative where they're already making you do all the work anyways, I'm at the labels. What they going to tell you to do your own content, because there ain't no marketing machine no more. So you got to do that. If you got to do all that, make the music and anyways, what the hell are you doing? Just build with somebody and then do it. Yeah. And, so that's what I would advise. I wouldn't advise waiting on a label or no team or nothing. Just get you somebody you really rock with and get to it and put in the work. We know what it takes. You got to market yourself. You got to have great music, and that's pretty much it.
We wish you so much success. Thank you for tapping in with Rap Cartel.